Alright, hello guys, testing 1, 2. Ryan back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about breaking your Vim up into an idiomatic runtime. And what that means is first we're going to take our vimrc, if yours is in a single folder like a lot of people are when they first start Vim, and we're going to break all the different parts out into Vim specific idioms in different folders, and we're going to take what's left and then just make it into a user runtime. Now to start with, we're going to have a look at my init.vim, and you'll see that it is just a Vim script that globs together all of the files in my config folder that end in .vim and then sources them, and, splits them into different lines and then sources them each back to back. And if you come into the config folder, I have my plugin manager sourcing first, just because most need to, and then my initializations, my auto completion for my language servers, my user defined commands and auto commands, and my bindings, and then just some folding stuff at the end. Don't have to worry about that. So if you were going to break your vimrc out into a runtime, obviously the first place you'd want to start is just all of your initialization stuff, and that's just anything that uses set, putting your syntax on, setting any global variables or anything like that, or any global options, and just everything like that, your color scheme, anything like that, coding, your backup DIRs if you want to have them, if you want to create backup DIRs with a Vim script, list jars, just all of those settings, move them into an initialization file. And when you're done with that, you can take all of your auto completion settings, things like pseudo transparency for your menu, all of that good stuff, your ignores, and just everything that has to do with completion, go ahead and move that into an autocomplete folder. And then you've already simplified your vimrc a great deal, and now you'll be able to take care of auto completion completely separate from your normal just text editing functions. And you're going to go ahead and take your user commands. I have my extended text objects in here just because even though I use and no remap, it just kind of feels more like a command to me, to the extending text objects. No swaps, just anything that uses auto commands or commands I have in this folder. All your user bindings you can take and you can move those into a separate folder. And like I said, you just source those all with just a quick Vim script. You could just list them all out in this folder and source them too, but I prefer to just use a script. That way I don't have to rewrite everything in that folder every time I add or remove one, and then I just enforce an order by numbering them. So very, very simple, but very powerful. And if you have any functions, you want to put them in an auto load folder and then just name them. You can have them in separate files and name them whatever you want. If you have functions that only apply to certain things, I only have like 4 functions that I've defined myself, so I just have them in a flat file called myfuncs. And you're just going to want to, any function you have in here, proceed with the myfuncs or whatever the name of the folder it's in, and then the hash symbol, and then the name of the function. And this is just a function I have that just opens any kind of odd file types that Vim can't open with the XGG open. And that leads me to the file type detect folder. Vim can't detect all the file types you might need to use, and instead of having those all thrown into your auto commands folder or into your normal vimrc or anything, I like to throw those into a file type detect folder. Vim will automatically source this. This is one of the files it sources in its runtime, and you can just throw all the things that Vim doesn't really know how to work with. So like videos, setting mut file for your email, any kind of special patch diff kind of stuff you want to have. All that stuff can go in here if you have like a Mathematica languages you use. So, and then Vim will just be able to handle these like normal from then on, and source that and just detect it whenever you use that kind of folder. You can have file type plugins to act on those file types. You just have to preface it with the name that you're going to set the file type of that thing to. Like I have videos.vim, and that just opens up with any kind of video file, opens with XGG open, and then in my file type detect, I tell Vim what a video file looks like. If you make a plugin folder for all of your plugin settings, Vim also automatically sources this in the runtime, and then you can just enforce some kind of order by numbering the files the same way you do with your config folder. You can have user-defined snippets in a snippet folder, and then just tell any kind of plugin or whatnot where the snippets are located. Templates is kind of the same thing, except this requires no actual input or anything. It just throws it right into a file in the spot it's told to. You can also make an after folder and have the exact same runtime I've just displayed to you, minus the config, because that's something we source ourselves. And just throw that in here, and Vim will source all of that after the other files. And then in here I just have some Lua configuration files for my Lua plugins I'm using. So that's making an idiomatic vimrc, and then splitting your Vim up into a runtime. And this is nice because if I want to remove plugins, I can just go ahead and delete this folder and stop using D. And if I want to change my bindings, I can just go into my bindings file, and they're all right there. Like, there's nothing else in bindings. There's no auto commands in here. It's nothing. It's just bindings, which is nice because it gets kind of long. I have all of the stuff I used for my notes in college, all my symbols. Yeah, so it just gets kind of long. I wouldn't want to have to go through one big file to find all of the stuff and delete stuff. If I delete a plugin, I don't have to go through a file to delete the plugin settings. I just want to remove. If I stop using Skim and start using, I don't know, what is it, Flashlight or whatever, that's replacing I forget. Not something I really care to use right now. But if I can just remove this folder and drop in the new plugin configuration, boom, it's literally just plug and play basically. And if I want to add some kind of new file to my configuration, boom, just drop it in here, add a number. If I want to add it someplace weird, I can just run some kind of quick sed to change the numbers and drop it in. Like, it's really not hard to work with once you fill it all up with scripts and folders. And then coming up, I'm going to have a video on how to switch your Vim or your init.vim into an init.lua now that NVim supports Lua as a first-class language. I've just done that to mine. That's actually what I have loaded here. You might notice the bar at the bottom. This is Lua line, I think it's called. Yeah, and look forward to that. I noticed that my Vim seems to be a little bit more responsive since I switched to Lua. I don't know if that's just because I'm using fewer plugins right now, or if that has something to do with the Lua, but look forward to it, and go ahead and make your Vim into a runtime, and make sure to follow idioms. That way you know what's going on, and other people do too. That's been Ryan. Have a good one.